Good morning. It's me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment, etc., etc. And if we want to see change, we have to make that change. And on Wednesdays, we focus on the obstacles that we currently have in those two sides of self and what we need to do to overcome those obstacles. So I can't see the cards outside of the top and the bottom of the deck, but the top and the bottom of the deck is like, seems like it might be a little bit challenging energy today. So bear with me. All right, we're going to start off with the general energy and then the actual obstacle itself. So let's begin with the general energy. So this, we're going to start with divine feminine, and we're looking at the energy surrounding the obstacle. So this obstacle is causing something to happen, and um, this is, or this place where she's at, the energy where she is at, is causing these obstacles to surface. It can be either of those things. But the first thing, we're using the Fountain Tarot today, on her mind is the Four of Swords in reverse. So this is a card about prayer, faith, grief, rest, silence, and healing when it's upright. And when it's in its reverse, it can be about resisting grief or having processed grief, having done healing, um, being having a need for expression could be in that card. And then in the heart space today, we're getting the Temperance card in reverse. So divine feminine is really feeling off balance. She's not really feeling her best. She might be having trouble sleeping or needing a lot of sleep, doing a lot of sleep, or not being able to. There's sleep disturbances. Um, there might be frustration, having trust and faith issues in the divine plan, fearing the protected nature of the sacred union she seeks within herself. Um, she's off balance. She's really off balance and um, needs healing. And I think is resisting the healing process by being focused, overly focused in the material world and really resisting. She's like, I've been in this ethereal space for so long. And I've been, you know, um, living in this energetic space with a masculine energy. That if this has to do with relationships, there's been this masculine energy, and I've lived only in this 5D space, this fantasy realm, um, this energetic connection, and she's wanting to materialize, to like see the things that she's been hoping for come to pass. And there's this really just uncomfortable energy right now. She's like, how can I have more healing? Like, do I really have more healing that I have to do? Like, really, truly, when will this be over? Kind of a sense coming from her, and really not wanting to do it. Like, she's like, okay, I do the healing, and what? And then what? What do I get? That's the feeling. She's like, what am I healing for? To be by myself, to be alone, to be on my own, right? That kind of sense. Like, what's it even for? What am I even, why did I even do this? Okay. So that's a heavy, sticky energy. The niggling thing in the back of her mind is the Queen of Swords in reverse. Well, not the niggling. Well, it is a niggling thing, it's the obstacle. And the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So this is the obstacle that we're looking at. The Queen of Swords in reverse is about defensive energy. It can be about overthinking. I can have conniving energy, but I'm seeing defensive energy and then withholding of this prosperity and abundance. Divine feminine's overthinking and defensiveness is causing her to be unable to receive these offers of maybe multiple offers that she's received. And this could be like job opportunities, it could be relationships, new relationships, it can be just different means or methods of getting wealth or receiving prosperity. And she like overthinks it, doesn't have a strategy. It's like ironically that she's overthinking it but then actually has no strategy for how to manage. So she's like closing herself off, defending herself against receiving this prosperity because she's having trouble having faith and trust in the healing process that has taken place, and she's resisting it. So, how do we remove this obstacle? Let's take a look first at where this originated. In the headspace, we're getting the Hanged Man in reverse, and interestingly, the Four of Wands upright. And so Divine Feminine's obstacle seems to be coming from perspective that she's gained about commitment, about foundations for relationships, um, about sacred union in self, about marriage. Um, the Hanged Man in reverse is about being, you were stuck and now you're not stuck. And so she might go into this really defensive energy when it comes to any kinds of gestures or offers she's receiving, because it took so much for her to get unstuck from a past situation, from a marriage, or it took so long for her to gain the perspective she needed to come into the sacred union inside of herself, that she doesn't want anything to take her out of that again. And so she's being very self-protective, which of course, when we're self-protective, we can say we're kind of sabotaging ourselves because we're preventing ourselves from having these experiences that will help us to heal, that will lead us to this next place. I feel such a heavy energy coming from her and such a loneliness. Okay, how is this block currently manifesting in 3D? Before I saw this card, I said, I feel such a loneliness, and we're getting the Hermit. Okay. In our headspace, we're getting the Star upright, which is beautiful, honestly, and the Hermit upright, which is also beautiful. So, what's happening is this defensiveness, this overthinking, when she's not seeing this offer, this feeling like she's not getting offers that are worthy of her, not able to give anything at this time. It's causing her to focus on her healing. It's causing her to reveal herself fully, not to hold back anymore. Um, and it's put her in this energy of soul searching. She is very lonely here. This is divine feminine on her own, taking the unconscious and pouring it into the material. It's hard work. It does require this alone time, this inner contemplation. And it's also causing her to wait here too. So there's hope. She has hope because because this block originates from the sacred union inside of self, finally gaining this perspective. She's hopeful that all the waiting that she's done on her own is going to result in her ability to receive this Ace of Pentacles. So she is remaining hopeful and alone. She's remaining on her own. And she's still doing the soul searching and trying to do this healing because she knows that this resistance to the healing is what's causing these obstacles for her. What will help remove this obstacle? Judgment. reconciliation and forgiveness, and the Fool, a new beginning. So this is rebirth. There's rebirth and salvation in this judgment card. There's the process of reconciliation, which is to give that four-part apology, right? I'm sorry. It was my fault. What can I do to make it up to you? And please forgive me, right? Those four parts of the apology in its fullness. And then being able to start again, to begin again. So, Divine Feminine, there's since you're in this defensive energy where you're blocking off any sort of gestures coming to you, um what would help remove this obstacle for her is if she received this apology from this energy outside of self. So she has to forgive herself, I think, for waiting for this apology. She has to forgive herself for doing that. There's divine timing at play here. There's reasons for her to be in this energy. So she does need to forgive herself. And I do think she needs to see some reunion, reconciliation, something coming towards herself so that she can really start fresh and have a clean slate going forward. So she's not associating any of these past energies with her current progress, because that's what's causing the disconnect for her. Who or what should I release from my past to move on? She is getting the Two of Wands in reverse and the Eight of Swords upright. So, Divine Feminine, the Two of Wands is a card about, it's associated with the twin flame journey, but it's the card about asking and then believing that you will receive. Um, this Eight of Swords in upright is about protecting ourselves again, right? So we're seeing that protective energy that happens, this overprotective, defensive, cutting, unforgiving, really, energy coming from the Queen of Swords. So releasing this tendency towards protecting oneself from what it is you've asked for. You've asked for something and then you protect yourself from receiving it. And I think that the waiting energy that's associated with the Two of Wands, like waiting for your twin flame or something, this is how she protects herself from moving on, by waiting for this to happen. Oh, this is hitting me hard. What can I learn from this current pause? In the headspace, she's getting the Eight of Wands upright. And in the heart space, we're seeing the Six of Pentacles in its reverse. So she's learning to go with the flow, because the Eight of Wands is about movement, motion forward, when she doesn't see reciprocity. So she's learning to keep it pushing if what she's giving is not being reflected back to her. And if it's not enough, she might see some things reflected back to her, but it's more of a withholding energy than of a giving energy, right? It's like, my DM makes gestures, but he continues to make gestures that I've told him over and over again I don't want him to make. To the point where now I'm starting to think like maybe it's not real, because I've been like, don't do that, and he does it. So I'm like, okay, well, I think that maybe I am mistaken. And the only way that I can learn whether or not it's real is if my actual gestures are reciprocated. And I made a bold gesture. I left my number and I said, call me. And that is, I can't, unless I get that back, there's just, I have to keep moving on because the gestures that are being made, I can't even believe in anymore. I could just be like making it all up and like reading into it. I'm not seeing what I'm putting in. What I'm putting in is a clear, direct message. I'm not seeing that. So I have to keep going. That's what Divine Feminine has to learn. If she's not receiving reciprocal interest, attention, energy, she's got to move on. What can I look forward to once this obstacle is removed? The top of, or the first thing in the headspace is the world in reverse. And the heart space is the chariot in reverse. So I feel like Divine Feminine, you think if you move on, then your opportunities with this certain specific iteration are over. But they're not over. And like it's not like if you choose to move on because you're not seeing reciprocation. It's like I sent you a message directly. This is my number, call me. And then what do I get back? Everything I asked you not to do. Everything confusing, which now makes me think this isn't real because it's 8:44 right now on the clock. Because I've asked for something and right, I asked for something here in my past behavior and it wasn't given to me. Instead, what was given to me was what I said, please don't do that. Please don't do that. I don't. I can't believe it. So like because it could just be my very active mind reading into these messages. So without direct communication, like I can't have it. So Divine Feminine is being told right now, if there's not a direct reciprocation, which in my case would be a phone call or a phone number or a direct communication, then she's got to keep going with the flow, which is pushing her away from the energy that can't reciprocate. And she's afraid that if she does that, that her opportunities with this individual will be over. And what she has to look forward to is it's not over, which I don't know how I feel about that. But I guess the idea that if it's her fear that she's never going to have this opportunity again if she keeps moving on, that's not really true. And this chariot energy in reverse is like, she's the one that's going to have control over the reins. She's the one that gets to decide on how fast or slow things are moving because she's the one that's demanding reciprocation that's direct, right? So if my gesture isn't matched directly, then I'm in control. I'm the one that gets to decide whether this is over or not over, whether this cycle is complete or not complete. This is also an indication that there probably will be more struggles with the ego and more struggles with surrendering and with completing cycles as she's moving on from this past energy. She will most likely have more opportunities to complete the cycle, right? And more opportunities to surrender to the divine so that she can be on top of the world. But without moving forward from this place where she's not seeing reciprocation, we're seeing her then stuck here in this energy. Okay, heavy energy for Divine Feminine. Let's take a look at Divine Masculine. And I just realized that I did not shuffle for the oracles today. So I'm going to do that really quickly. And I guess while I do that, I will tell you announcements and stuff I have today since I didn't plan to do this. But, don't knock all the cards over. Today is Wednesday. I'm going to be in the studio today working on the next single. But my very first debut solo single is coming out this Friday. It would be so helpful to me if you go and pre-save and get excited and share and do all the things. I have never been so proud of something that I've made. I'm really excited for it to be released, and I would love for it to get the proper attention. So if you have a chance, go to pearlsprayers.com, click get it here under the single, and there's a place to pre-save so that you will be able to hear it when it comes out on Friday, which is very exciting. All right, I'm just in here. Also, I am running technically a playlist challenge, but I forgot to post the last couple of days, so I will post today. If you answer the question in my sticker, you can win a free reading. Basically, what song do you feel embodies the Wheel of Fortune? And I will add it to a playlist and shuffle it on Friday, and you can win a free reading. Any of the services that are up on pearlsprayers.com under Tuned In Tarot Booking. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Let's do Divine Masculine. Top of the deck. Overall, forefront of his mind and his heart space, because we do it at the same time. This is the general energy surrounding Divine Masculine's obstacle. So, Jesus. In the headspace, we're getting the 5 of Wands in reverse. And in the heart space, we're getting Judgment in reverse. And of course, we already saw Judgment over here for Divine Feminine upright as one of the things that will help her remove the obstacle, is to receive an apology and have a clean slate, or forgive herself for waiting and have a clean slate with herself and move on, however you want to see that. But for Divine Masculine, his obstacle is around this process of ending the struggle, which I think we're seeing some kind of a judgment, awaiting some kind of like a legal judgment that has not happened. Or if it did happen, if the struggle has ended and the judgment was delivered, it maybe wasn't in his best interest. Something about that could be there. But I really think that this is about harsh criticism of the self for the amount of time it's taken him to untangle himself from the struggle. But there's been a lot of stress here. There's a lot of stress around this process of unblocking so that he can make communications. There's a lot of resistance he's trying to release in regards to his fears of the judgment he will receive when he does come forward and ask for absolution from Divine Feminine. So his obstacles, in the headspace, we have the High Priestess upright. And in the heart space, we have the 4 of Swords and also upright, which for Divine Feminine was the general energy in its reverse. We've got that mirroring energy all over the spread already. So Divine Masculine's obstacle, the 4 of Swords, is definitely about silence and grief, about remaining silent, about having faith and trusting in the Divine Feminine, and trusting in his own intuition, trusting his Divine Feminine to be able to maintain her composure and her purity while she waits in his silence. His silence itself is a block, and then his ability to trust in Divine Feminine while he maintains this silence. So it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy that we have here as his obstacle. Where does this originate? So it originates, we have the Hermit in the headspace and the Emperor in its reverse in the heart space. And what we're seeing is that this obstacle has come from him being alone and searching his soul and trying to heal these shadow aspects of this Emperor energy. The Emperor is the opposite of the High Priestess. The Emperor is very invested in the physical. He's got a firm foundation for his throne, and he rules over the material, like the King of Pentacles on steroids. He is, when he is in his shadow, he's controlling and he's very rigid. And Divine Masculine formed this block, which is this difficulty in trusting himself and trusting this divine feminine energy will withstand this healing period he's going through, this silence that he's maintaining. So this is coming from how long it's taking him, how he has had to be on his own and isolating in order to release these controlling, rigid behaviors that come from this fear the emperor has of trusting in that divine feminine energy. So issues with betrayal and stuff that he's had to process, and his own sort of distorted masculine energy. So he's this block comes from the fact that he's had to be alone to take care of this. And while he's alone to take care of this divine feminine, we of course see her waiting and not receiving reciprocal energy, which is causing her to have to move on, which is bringing up his fear that divine feminine will not wait. So we have this, again, that feedback loop going on. Then we have, what can I learn from this current pause? Oh no, sorry, wrong position. We have, how is the block currently manifesting in the 3D? No! Divine masculine in his headspace, we have the 8 of Wands in its reverse, which of course we saw divine feminine learning that if the 8 of Wands is in reverse and she's not seeing reciprocation, then she has to keep pushing, right? She has to keep going because there's an imbalance here. We see divine masculine, that's what's happening is he's not sending this communication. He's also not getting any messages. Because if divine feminine isn't getting them from him, then she's not giving them. So he's at this place where he has to make a decision whether or not he's going to send these messages that he's been withholding to be able to communicate and get through that obstacle of the 4 of Wands, which is that silence. So what's manifesting is he's not doing anything, right? He's no longer juggling multiple parties, though. He's truly in his hermit energies. Definitely in that, firmly entrenched in that hermit energy, and he's not juggling other options or parties or anything like that. He has chosen to end that sort of juggling, so that's happening, but he's not choosing to communicate. What will help remove this obstacle? Stop. We already saw divine feminine with what she needs to release with this 2 of Wands in reverse and the 8 of Swords, which is the idea that, like, honestly, if she can't see it, it's not going to happen, and so she protects herself from it. I just saw 8:55 on the clock. Or that she's that having to wait for it is causing her to protect herself as well. Well, what will help divine masculine is the 2 of Wands in reverse. Same thing that divine feminine needs to release, right? So that you need to see it to believe it is part of it. Both of them need to release. But for divine masculine, it will be stop planning shit. He spends all his time thinking that if he could only just make the right plans, that everything would be fine. But he's got to just, you already asked, man. You asked for it, and it's going to be given. If you can trust in this divine feminine energy inside of self, that intuition, and follow those pings, right? Which is your obstacle. You're having trouble trusting the intuition and the messages that you're receiving. The other thing that will help you remove it is justice, the balancing of the scales, and seeing clearly, being willing to look and see, right? This is, I have to see it before I can believe it. This is, I can already see it because I see how karma works and I know that justice will be done. This fear of this judgment, about this untangling of situation that's going on, this overall energy. What's going to help you remove it is that justice will be done. This is being done on your behalf, even. Also, divine feminine's ability to see all that you've done. Because even though you need to stop making plans, divine feminine's ability to see everything you have tried to do, all the plans that you have made, that's another aspect that is going to help remove this obstacle for you. Once you actually show her what it is you've been doing, she doesn't have to be like, is this even real anymore? Like, I don't know, because she can see it. Okay. Who or what should I release from my past to move on? We are getting the Page of Wands upright and the High Priestess, which is your obstacle. This is very interesting. This is that you are holding on to by keeping silent, by remaining silent, masculine, you hold divine feminine captive. This is your strategy, right? This is your strategy. I will show her only what she wants, what I think she wants to see, so that I can keep her spellbound here. Because I don't trust in her loyalty to be able to handle it while I fix what's going on in my life. I don't trust her loyalty. I don't trust that she's going to be able to stay with me. Because in his mind, if she has third-party relationships, then clearly she's not being loyal, even though that is not at all what unconditional love is about. So he's got that ego issue going on. So his obstacle is holding on so tightly to this divine feminine and remaining silent and not expressing to her the situation, not telling her what the truth is. The truth will set him free, right? The truth will set him free. It will keep him from this Two of Wands, like, waiting energy. And look at this. This is the twin flame shit is all over this reading too, because the High Priestess is the major arcana twin flame. The Two of Wands in reverse. Divine Feminine was also told this Two of Wands in reverse. So letting go of this twin flame saga shit. Both aspects of self. This is about being very immature. It's about excitement and a spark and chemistry and burgeoning sexual energy. But it is like this just really immature. Just taking this higher calling and just not treating it with respect at all. And this behavior of constantly doing this with the divine feminine, first of all, not letting her go and just trusting that what is meant to be will come back to me, right? So holding her in that captive position by that silence, by that controlling of the information, and then making these little, really small gestures that are ineffective, that are meant to keep her spellbound. And look at her. Is she amused? No. This is not serving him. So he has to release this behavior. So what can I learn from this current pause? Oh my God. The Four of Swords upright, which is your obstacle. And the Nine of Cups in reverse. Now, when we get the Nine of Cups in a spread, whether it's upright or it's reverse, it means that we're going to get our wish fulfillment. But how crazy that what you're learning is the obstacle itself. First of all, you're learning to pray, which is not something you may have done in the past. You are learning to trust and have faith. You are learning to build a solid spiritual foundation. You're healing, you're receiving healing so that you can be stable, mentally stable. And you are releasing overindulgence or self-indulgence, um, and hoarding. So you're learning how to navigate hoarding your emotions and feelings out of fear versus maintaining silence in order to heal, resting, recuperating, or whatever. It's this delicate balance. To a certain extent, being self indulgent with the divine feminine, being like selfish and hoarding the truth from her, has been a way of controlling her. And it's really, it's coming from this distortion, and you're having to heal it. So this pause that you're in where you can't be with her and are trying to navigate, it's really about having this faith in your wish fulfillment, praying for it, praying for this healing, and being at peace about what it is that your heart desires, about what your wishes are. And then we're getting, what can I look forward to once this obstacle is removed? Divine feminine, she got, if I walk away from this twin flame because he is not reciprocating with me directly, and I mean walk away. Walk away. Blink, blink, blink. Then I don't have to be afraid that that means that it's over, right? It means I am in control of the reins. It means it, and honestly, there will probably be some chaos and some upheaval when I do this, but ultimately, it doesn't. It's not going to end. My fear that this will be over. This can't be over. It's not that type of energy. This is an energy that is eternal. This is the energy inside of self. So you can walk away, but that energy is still going to be there. That's just how it is. So for her, what she has to look forward to, if she can get through this obstacle of this overthinking and withholding, not seeing these offers, going into this defensive mode, stop protecting herself, etc., and just move on, she's going to be able to see that forward motion. Divine masculine is going to be the one who finally surrenders the control of the chariot and balances the two aspects of self. And this slow, stubborn Knight of Pentacles energy that we've seen him methodically plotting forward will be a thing of the past. He can then finally move very swiftly towards the divine feminine energy. And that is why for divine feminine, there will be this sense that it's not over, because once divine feminine really releases this masculine can come forward. It's just, if you're holding something like divine masculine's obstacle is holding that divine feminine hostage. Divine feminine, you're doing the same thing. You need to liberate yourself from the feeling that you need this union. There is still attachment here that has to be let go. All right, let's look at the oracles and see how we can help. Divine feminine, you are in the shadow attributes. I can't make it up. Of the networker. Look at all these letters here. Not coming, messages not being sent. There's divine masculine not receiving those messages. You're also not getting messages from him, right? This is conveys information only for personal gain and spreads fear and falsehood. So, divine feminine, you need to come into the light, which is enhancing the unity through the sharing of information and engendering social awareness and empathy. I don't know how I could share information in any other way than this with my divine masculine and my divine masculine energy. You got a text message from me with clear instructions. And when you can do that, do it. And if you can't do it, stop making me playlists. Because I don't believe in it anymore. Like now I just think I'm making it up and I'm reading into it. and I just made it all up. So just stop. That's my message. That's the only way that I can really get that message to my divine masculine, because I really have no other way of doing that. This Saint Michael the Archangel is here to help support you with confidence, and there's a real need. You have to be confident in yourself that you are good enough on your own. You're doubting this. The Queen of Swords in reverse is a lot of overthinking, and whenever you're thinking, you're having conversations with yourself, and whenever you're having conversations with yourself, it's not going to go well. Just listen. Like when you find your head going, just stop and listen. Listen to the sounds outside. If you live in my apartment, there's plenty of them. Listen to the fan in your room. Listen to whatever, just something to distract yourself from the thoughts that you're having that are affecting your confidence. Right now, you don't feel confident in the connection. I don't feel confident in mine. I'm at the place where I'm like, nope, I made it up. I definitely made it up. Like one incident that happened yesterday, and I was like, oh, he never would have posted this because he would know that this person blocked me and I can't see them. So it's not real. Maybe it isn't. But my confidence in myself has to be the same, whether it's real or not. Like all of the progress I made, everything I learned, that's all real. That's all I've got. So tap into that archangel energy of confidence and just feel that you are being supported in what you want to do. You're also getting this. Saint Cecilia is here to support you in with this playing music energy. So this is, listening to music, hearing messages in music. If you are a musician, it's actually playing music. I'm going to the studio today to mix my single, and so I'll be doing music all day today. And just be in, like I said, I mentioned listening. So just listen to music and the messages that you're receiving, which is ironic for me because I'm not listening to that playlist. I looked at it. It's a sad playlist and I don't want it in my life. I'm not interested. Communicate directly or don't fucking communicate with me. It's where my energy is, because I don't believe it anyway. So I won't really believe it until I see it, because everything in my past has countered what is actually happening in reality. So I don't believe it anymore. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. Divine Feminine, your Four of Swords and your Temperance were in reverse because you are resisting doing what it takes right now. It takes consistent healing, not just healing because you want to come into union, but consistently healing every single day from now until the end. You are healed enough to be able to enjoy life and have wonderful experiences right now. It's not like you can't be in union or have wonderful experiences. It's just that you're always going to be healing. And it's not something that you're doing just with the goal in mind, like a material reward in mind. Psychic abilities. This is a high priestess energy again. So we can't mistake who divine masculine needs to release right now. This divine feminine energy. There's this fear of it. There's an intimidation here. There's a doubt about it. And he's got to release that and really just trust in his intuition and trust in the divine feminine. Divine feminine herself, she has these psychic abilities. They're enhanced right now. You have the ability to see. You have a far reaching sight that is able to show you these, how to get closer to consciousness. So you're really heightened in this energy and you are receiving truths right now. Time for healing is in reverse, and I just said these cards about healing were in reverse. There's a resistance here. Divine feminine, you don't want to heal fully because then you will receive what you want. And I know that must shock you to really, really grasp that you just don't think that you can handle what you want. And so You're not healing in order to receive it. And it's hard for you. You're thinking a lot about how you know it's there, but you can't grasp it. You've got to allow this healing to take place. Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. Go to your sisterhood, go to those feminines around you. Maybe ask them for some guidance. For the friends that have psychic abilities, ask for a reading, ask for some insight. If you need personal readings, pearlsprayers.com. All my booking information is there. And don't be intimidated by prices. You can email me or hit my DMs if you need a discount code, because I do income-based services. So you just need more insight, more perspective, more support, I think, from those around you during this time. You really trying to go it alone, but you have a group that can really help you. I think that you don't want to hear the messages a lot of times. A lot of times when you're getting these readings, the readings are telling you exactly what this obstacle is saying. It's like, let go and move away from this energy that is not serving you. And that can be difficult to hear. But you can turn to your sisterhood right now and seek out that guidance. This also might be a time for you to think about the devotion you have towards your own self, like having, a self-care regimen where you're really feeling beautiful and allowing yourself to feel beautiful, etc. This is my name, Bee Spirit. Sweet results await, divine feminine. This is 7. And the protection message from this Colette Baron Reed deck is, when Bee Spirit comes as your protector, she asks you to be very honest with yourself. Do you want to taste the sweet honey others have been making but you believe is unattainable for you? Do you wonder how others ended up with so much magical honey when you seem to have none? Have you bought into the illusion of separation and become convinced that you can't have what others in the hive enjoy? Do you separate from the hive to do it all on your own or to hoard what honey you have, unwilling to trust that there is plenty of support and plenty of sweetness to go around? If you've been overworking and overdoing and have not given yourself any time to enjoy the sweetness of your life, Bee Spirit is telling you to stop and recharge. Perhaps you're afraid that if you don't get something done, it just won't get done. However, even busy bees need to take a break, and when they do, the honey still gets made. So remind yourself that sweetness is everywhere and available to you always when you need it. Take a break from this energy. I have to, because it is literally driving me crazy. I feel crazy. If I still believe in it, I feel like I'm crazy. If I try to explain to anybody what's going on, I feel crazy. And that is not good. And I've felt like that for years. So I need to move away from those feelings, knowing that, not being afraid that I'm going to lose that ability to have experienced that sweetness for myself, and that, it's not going, that honey's not going to be being made if I'm not constantly like checking on it. Divine masculine, you are in the light attributes right now of the Midas. So you've moved out of that miserly state. We saw your 9 of Cups in reverse there. You're ready to pour everything out. There's an entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold and a delight in sharing life's riches right now. So you are no longer hoarding money and emotions and having an obsessive fear of losing your wealth. So this is good. You worked on this energy. And this is part of the healing that you've been doing, part of what has been taking you a long time, but you've been working on it. You are, however, in the shadow attributes of the gossip, which is thriving on the power of passing on private or secret information and betraying confidences. And you need to come into the light, which is awakening consideration for the feelings of others and honoring trust. I'm so drawn to this image of this masculine, like whispering these secrets to the feminine, but it's very shadowy looking. And I really think that this is you still thriving on this power, right? As long as you hold this information secret, you have power over divine feminine. As long as you control the flow of that information, of what she sees and what she hears as much as you possibly can. And you're kind of crazy about this. I see you doing actually like a lot of like work, like checking things you're tagged in, untagging yourself, like finding anything that could possibly give her some information that you're not ready for her to have, or or give her information that she might not quite believe. There's just whatever it is, like you are trying to control that flow of information to her. But you're not considering her feelings. You're not honoring the trust the two of you have. And that misalignment is what makes her feel she has to walk away, because she's not getting the whole truth. She's getting bits and pieces. And it doesn't seem wholesome. It doesn't seem kosher to her. And it's causing issues. So you need to wake up to that and honor the trust with her. You hate this. Practice makes perfect, and steady progress here together. You don't like practicing because you want to be in mastery immediately. But everything takes time. It takes progress. And you're supported. Your guardian angel and Saint Teresa of Lisieux are here to support you in this steady progress. And not giving up, that you're practicing, that you're figuring out how to communicate. It's difficult, but you're being supported in that energy and you are making steady progress. So just have faith. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right minded thinking and the energy of love. So don't lose that faith that everything that's happening is bringing you where you want to go. And that is towards your life purpose, which is here upright. And your life purpose is for growth and expansion, both above and below. So within the subconscious, within the deep inner workings of the mind, within the soul, and then externally, materially, it is about expansion and growth. And you just need to be really, really mindful that everything that's happening is conspiring to bring you toward this culmination. Adjustments are required, but a win win outcome is forecast. So you're getting that balance again. You do need to make some adjustments. You need to face this fear and intimidation that comes from this trusting and honoring and respecting the feminine energy. Um, and you need to bring that balance. But a win win outcome is forecast, and everyone involved is going to fare better once we actually make these steps forward. You are getting pillar of light. Your vibration is rising, and you are the oracle. So you're really ascending, you're moving up, and you yourself are able to start tapping into these messages. You just have to trust in your own high priestess energy. You are associating feminine energy with energy outside of self, and you constantly keep having to be reminded that you are that feminine energy. And then we're getting this card, which we never get. This is the scarab beetle spirit. Magic works through you. Let's read the message. It's the oracle message from Colette Baron Reed deck. In ancient Egypt, the scarab beetle was revered, for the creative magic of scarab beetle reminds us that we can bring forth something extraordinary, seemingly out of thin air. Whenever you let your creativity flow through you, scarab beetle spirit reminds you that spirit has given you the gift of infinite potential. You have an ally as you fashion something new or repurpose the old. For spirit co creates with you, channeling energy through you so that you feel replenished and vitalized as you make magic with what is at hand. Now is a time for great optimism, for you can accomplish anything you desire, and your creative endeavors will come to fruition. Miracles, opportunities, abundance, and love will appear seemingly out of nowhere as you allow spirit to work through you and magically manifest what you need. So be optimistic. Basically, you can accomplish anything you desire at this moment. There are miracles, there are opportunities, and love is going to appear seemingly out of nowhere. So take heart, Divine Masculine. All right, here is what you are in union in regards to for the both of you. We have the shadow attributes of slave energy. This is giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. But the light is surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Both of you need to do this. You need to surrender your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. You've been giving your willpower to each other and to others around you out of fear of making your own choices. You don't want to hurt anyone. And so, unfortunately, that has been hurting yourself. And you need to just trust in the divine and that the things that you want to choose are inspired and heavenly because you are the oracle. There is triumph here. Your guardian angel is support you in being triumphant over this slave energy. You're not going to be enslaved any longer. You're breaking those bonds. You are moving out of these patterns. I surrender to a power greater than me. This is a huge message. The chariot was on both sides of the reading, that slave energy in reverse, which was about surrendering with complete trust. And then again, I surrender to a power greater than me. This card was in its reverse, which usually for me means that prosperity is here because this says it lies ahead. But when it is in its reverse for me, that reverses the timing. So it is here. It is available to you right now. And it's this cozy Taurus energy, this like home, this safe, comforting place. It's right here. We saw that it is here, right? You're just not able to grasp it, feminine, because you're thinking it to death. You're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. Your true north is that sacred union in self, no matter what is happening outside of the self. So stop overthinking and just feel your way into alignment. And then this beaver spirit card is in reverse. It says lay a solid foundation, which is the protection message. Clearly, it's an emergency that you hear this. Beaver spirit has come to warn you to check for rotten wood in the foundations of your dreams. Perhaps you built your hopes on faulty promises or wishful thinking that something would work out just because you wanted it to. Maybe you made choices from a place of unworthiness, hoping that once you got what you desired, it would somehow change you and make everything better. And you had to face the truth that it didn't. Or Beaver Spirit may be telling you it is time to accept things as they are and perhaps consider abandoning the project, relationship, or situation so you can make room for something better. Perhaps you need to go back and rebuild a solid foundation because what you desire may not be in alignment with what your soul intends. Beaver Spirit says you can always get busy and build something fresh and new if the desire is true. All manner of miracles can spring up from a new strong foundation when you remember your partnership with Spirit. Be clear about what you're building and why, choosing from a place of worthiness, well being, and wholeness. Self understanding and acceptance will provide you with a solid blueprint to begin again. Get busy now. Beaver Spirit says this is not a time to procrastinate, but a time to start building again. Always mindful of the foundation you are laying, trusting that Spirit is co creating with you. All right, that's a hard message because this is a message that we have gotten over and over, and it has always been about just releasing, just letting whatever is going on right now go. This obstacle is going to be removed when you just put down the struggle itself against the obstacle. Divine Feminine, releasing that twin flame story and focusing on whether you're seeing reciprocation is going to liberate you from this sense of chaos and being out of control. And Divine Masculine, actually choosing to fulfill your heart's desires, trusting that you are capable of enjoying these fruits that you have, these from the seeds that you have planted, and surrendering to your desires and allowing those things to come into fulfillment will help you. All right, let's just do our daily energy. What can we do today that will help us come into alignment? I don't know about you, but I am super frustrated. I feel very incomplete in myself, which makes me very frustrated because I know I can't have anything if I feel that, but I do. I feel I do still feel attached. Now I feel kind of cuckoo, like I might have made it all up. That's not a good feeling. So I could use the help today. Let's see, what can we do today that will help us come into alignment, move past these obstacles for a better future? What can we do today? What can we do today, Spirit? Masculine do today? And the stack. Again, please like, subscribe, share, do all the things you can to help. There's a place you can send me a deck if you want to change up the imagery. There's like an Amazon wish list in the description box below. And there is also just a general support button if you just want to make a small donation or tip me on pearlsprayers.com. Thank you so much for the help. It really does help me be able to do these readings for you every week. All right. Please, God, help Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine move through these obstacles today. What does Divine Feminine need to do? Let's see. Okay. Oh, Divine Feminine, please don't murder me. We are getting the clock energy. Need time, takes time, in time, cycles, time to heal, and progress. And we're getting the runner. The runner in a codependent relationship, fear of intimacy, and listening to the ego. So, Divine Feminine, we're also getting the Nine of Wands, which is a card about healing, isolating oneself, and the Queen of Pentacles. And this is to confirm for me what I thought already. Divine Feminine, you always interpret the masculine as the runner. But Divine Feminine, you are the runner. You are the runner. You run away from yourself and from your own healing. You run right to this codependent relationship. You listen to your ego's fears, so you fear intimacy. You run away because, like in my case right now, like I'm running, I'm booking it because I'm like, fuck, I got this totally wrong. Like I'm wrong about it. It's not real. Like somehow I like, even though it's harder for me to believe it's not real now than it is to believe it is, somehow I'm still like, nope, must not be real. So I need to get out. Like I misinterpreted all the information again and now I look like an idiot. So I better fucking book it right out of here. And the divine is telling me today, stop running from this healing process. You don't have to be focused on the masculine energy. You have to be focused on yourself, right? Your own abundance and your own prosperity and healing the part of yourself that is very afraid of this intimacy and feels it must run if there's any uncertainty at all. I am not happy to hear that message for myself. All right, Divine Masculine. This is what you need to do today. You are getting Camera, which says reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past, and make memories. Then we're getting the Butterfly, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. We're getting the Knight of Pentacles, which we already got in your spread today, and the Eight of Swords. So Divine Masculine, in order to take this relationship to the next phase, you have to learn from this past You have to learn from the past. Learn from what you have been doing that has been sabotaging yourself. This slow, stubborn, moving energy has been you've just been protecting yourself. You see Divine Feminine as the runner, but she's running from this. She's running from this inability for you to take the relationship to the next phase because you're stuck in the past with your own fears of intimacy. So you're trying to make this methodical plan, like you've got all these things planned, and it's like, fuck your plans, man. Your plans don't mean shit. Your plans are doing this. Divine Feminine's like, I'm out. Because I don't fucking understand your plans. They don't make goddamn sense to me. In fact, they make me feel fucking insane. So I can't possibly stick around to find out that I'm crazy and alone. Like, no, I can't. So Divine Feminine's like, I gotta get out of here because I don't understand this. And Divine Masculine is keeping himself, because here's what the Eight of Swords looks like for Divine Feminine, right? So he's keeping his Divine Feminine in the dark, in this protection. She doesn't even know she's being protected. She doesn't know any of this information because she's completely kept in the dark. And Divine Masculine is doing that to her methodically, making her feel like completely alone and crazy. So Divine Masculine, can you learn from the past? Can you learn that when you do these certain things that make you feel better, Divine Feminine does not feel better. She does not feel better. You don't do these things for her. You tell yourself, I'm doing things for Divine Feminine, but you're not. You're doing things to protect this slow movement that you're making. You aren't ready to move faster. So you have to control the flow of information to keep Divine Feminine from running away completely. But it's the slow moving energy that's making her run. Oh my God, it's so insane. All right, the bottom of the deck for the both of you is so stupid. We are getting the Boat in reverse, which says receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, and closure issues. And then we are getting the 10 of Wands, which is a completion, right? 10 of Wands is the laying down of a burden. It's having a lot of responsibilities and finally putting that burden down. It can be about communication. And you are having trouble, both of you are having trouble. Divine Feminine, you're having trouble receiving what you need, which is causing you to go into this defensive energy and run from this overthinking you're doing, because Divine Masculine isn't communicating and putting down this burden so that he can actually tell you what is going on because of his fears about how you will receive that information. And so you can't move forward and you can't go backwards. You're just fucking stuck there, man. That's why we're looking at these obstacles. But what you're sticking on is these closure issues. Divine Masculine not fully having closure with karmic stuff, whether that's legal or otherwise. Divine Feminine not knowing what the fuck is going on because she's been in complete silence because Divine Masculine isn't telling her. And he's not telling her because he doesn't want to face this intimidating feminine intuition that it is his inability to let her go that is keeping them from being together. If he could just be like, okay, go ahead, fine, feminine, I can't be with you right now. I can't. And so I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to send you playlists. I'm literally not going to do anything. It's going to hurt you so bad. You'll probably never forgive me if I completely cut off all communication with you. But I think I would rather hurt you so that you could move on from me and be happy than hold you captive as a slave. Ironically, Divine Masculine, when you make that decision, you won't have to watch Divine Feminine go into another relationship because it is the relinquishing of that grasp that you have, which is about not being able to trust her or yourself or in the divine. And so you're just holding and you're holding and holding. And as soon as you can let that go, then you can finally be with her, because right now she is a possession. She is an object that you don't want to lose, that someone can steal. Divine Feminine, you are letting yourself being held because you fear that if you demand reciprocity, which is your right, that it will be over. But you're being told that if you demand reciprocity, which is your right, it won't be over. In fact, it'll just be beginning. You've got the Fool above you, and reconciliation and rebirth. Your ability to come into sacred union isn't over. And both of you need to surrender. Okay, this is a tough one. Great. Now I have to get ready to go into the studio. Not good energy to take in with me today, so I'm going to have to center myself. But coming to terms with the fact that I'm pretty delusional, I think, which is also a struggle for me, because I'm like, what? But this is my whole, but this is what I do. It's like, yeah, but you might be delusional. And there's no way for me to know. No way for me to know for sure without a direct communication. So I'm stuck there until that happens. And I have that same kind of doubt that we just talked about with my overthinking, with yeah, well, you know what? Maybe it's not ever going to happen. So you're never going to know. Are you just going to sit here and wait and try to find out? Or are you just going to move on and take control of the reins yourself, right? Take control back from this masculine energy and make shit happen on your own. All right. Well, if you need help releasing and rebuilding, which I sure do, I will be back to help you on Friday in the morning here on YouTube. I will also be here again on Sunday with Grace Strega. Not here, rather, but I will be here for you, but it will be on Instagram Live. And that's a fun one because at the end of our check-in, we do about a 30-minute check-in to the masculine and feminine sides of self. You can then ask personal questions. So we'll pull cards for you live there on Instagram. So you can enjoy that. Grace Strega is amazing. If you didn't catch last week, I believe that it is on her page. So go to Instagram, Grace Strega, and check out last week's reading to get a sample of how much synchronicity there is, because it's so crazy. We use a bunch of decks, and always we have all the same duplicate cards. It's weird. Weird and wonderful. All right. Wish me luck today, and I hope you have the best day. Take care, and I will see you here on Friday on Tuned In Tarot.